Pro-Life Perspectives. This program is about all things pro-life. It's sponsored by White Mountain Tees and Snowflake. White Mountain Tees provides screen printing, embroidery, banner printing, merchandise with your logo on it, and much more for the White Mountain community. Whether it's 25 t-shirts for your family reunion or 5,000 for your big event, they can do it.
And Damon, they deliver. Yep, they deliver your order right to your door. From Payson to Winslow, Pinetop to Springerville, they bring it to you.
Just go to whitemountaintees.com, that's whitemountaintees.com, or stop by their lovely shop in Snowflake. So Dinah, what are we talking about today?
Well, today we're talking about Planned Parenthood. You know, on its website, Planned Parenthood promotes itself as a, quote, trusted healthcare provider, an informed educator, a passionate advocate, and a global partner helping similar organizations around the world. Planned Parenthood delivers vital reproductive health care, sex education, and information to millions of people worldwide, end quote. Well, if hell has a PR department, Planned Parenthood is their poster child. Planned Parenthood promotes itself as a healthcare facility, and that's what people think it is. I've been in discussions with Christians who think Planned Parenthood is a good organization dedicated to helping women. In reality, Planned Parenthood is the largest provider of abortions in America today, and it has been for many years. Using the numbers from Planned Parenthood's 2021 annual report, of the estimated 930,000 abortions performed in the U.S. in 2020, Planned Parenthood performed 383,000 of them, or about 41% of all abortions done in the U.S. Comparing these numbers to 20 years earlier in 2000, the number of abortions Planned Parenthood has performed has nearly doubled in that time. And despite the downward trend in abortions nationwide for the past several decades, the percentage of abortions performed by Planned Parenthood has almost tripled.
But do they offer any other health care?
Well, I've heard interviews with them where they talk about offering mammograms to women as a routine part of their program. So the average person listening to this would think that they are indeed a health clinic, but in reality, it's far from that. After I listened to an interview where they claimed that, I personally called 15 Planned Parenthoods around the country. I asked if they did mammograms. The answer was always no. I then asked if they knew any Planned Parenthoods that did mammograms. Again, the answer was negative. All we have to do is look at their own report to see that this is not something they offer in their centers. In 2021, Planned Parenthood reported that it performed less than a quarter of the total number of breast screenings that it did 15 years before. Even using its own flawed statistics, screenings and prevention encompass only 5% of the services provided in 2021.
And I've heard them say they offer prenatal care or support for parenting and adoption referrals, but is that the case?
Their own statistics reported in their 2021 annual report debunks that misconception. It states, and I quote, that abortions made up 96.6% of Planned Parenthood's pregnancy resolution services, while prenatal services were 2.2%, miscarriage care was 0.7%, and adoption referrals came in at 0.5%.
I think that Planned Parenthood is best known for their sex education programs. I know they're in schools across the country from kindergarten all the way through 12th grade.
You know, that's true. They are. And the assumption is that sex education would be to prevent sexual activity in kids. Because STDs are epidemic, you would think that abstinence would at least be mentioned, since it offers 100% protection from both pregnancy and disease. In fact, all you have to do is go to their website to see what they promote. Because this is a radio program and I don't know who's listening, I can't begin to tell you how vile and disturbing their sex education programs are. Imagine teaching small children about every deviant variation of sex, many times with graphic animation to go along with it. There's only one conclusion you can come to after looking at what they teach. Their goal is to break down all barriers and to get kids sexually active as early as possible. What they teach is a pedophile's dream. Children were never meant to see or hear about the sexual activities they promote, much less be told that perversion is normal and healthy. All a parent has to do is to go to their website and look at what they offer. You will come away feeling violated.
This is really alarming, Dinah. I don't think people are aware of this. But fortunately, we don't have Planned Parenthood here in the White Mountains.
You're right, but it's not because they haven't tried. Some years ago, Planned Parenthood tried to open a clinic in Payson. We organized the community, and I presented Planned Parenthood's own materials to the attendees. They were shocked, and the Planned Parenthood representatives simply couldn't deny what I was saying. They insisted that they would not do abortions, only offer contraceptives and sex education. But it was pointed out that they had used this tactic in many small towns and then moved on to doing abortions a few years later after people got used to them. The city council voted down their request.
And Dinah, how is Planned Parenthood funded?
Well, in their own 2021 annual report, Planned Parenthood reported a $1.7 billion, that's billion, in income and over $2.1 billion in net assets. $579.3 million came from private contributions. Taxpayer funding in the form of government grants, contracts, and Medicaid reimbursements hit $633.4 million, or almost, now listen to this, $1.74 million per day of your tax money.
That is a lot of our tax money for abortions. So they don't charge for their services?
Oh, absolutely they charge. An abortion costs $600 to $800 in Arizona in the first trimester. The second trimester abortion costs about $1,200 to $2,100 depending on how big the unborn baby is. In New Mexico, where it's legal, third trimester abortions up until the day of birth cost in excess of $5,000. That's quite an income. But they're always looking for more avenues of revenue. They now offer gender transition hormones. They also promote gender confusion to children as young as kindergarten. More trans people, more hormones to sell. And the most creative way they found to bring in additional revenue was exposed by David Dalladin, an undercover journalist who secretly recorded Planned Parenthood executives in meetings with supposed buyers for research labs. What did Planned Parenthood have for sale? Baby body parts. The conversations are so ghastly that you'll find them surreal. You will hear a Planned Parenthood clinic director telling the undercover journalist that they need to get together in the mornings to see what body parts were ordered so they can adjust the abortions to produce the best specimens. She then goes on to explain that if a brain is needed, they can turn the fetus to come out feet first so there will be enough dilation for the head to fit through the cervix intact. The explanation of how they got the brain out is sickening. Joseph Mengele, the infamous Nazi doctor of death who did experiments on live twins, had nothing on these people you see discussing selling livers, hearts, and brains or other body parts as they chomp on their salad and sip their wine. There are 11 videos, and you can find them all at www.adflegal.org. That's adflegal.org. I would encourage everybody to go watch those. Know what we're up against.
Dinah, I find it so hard to believe that this is going on in our country. People really need to know the truth about Planned Parenthood. And I love it when you make the joke that it should be called Planned Baronhood. That's good. But I went and saw that movie, Unplanned.
Yeah.
I'm a movie guy. It's a movie about Abby Johnson, who was one of the youngest Planned Parenthood clinic directors in the nation. And Abby Johnson believed in a woman's right to choose. But while working in the abortion clinic, she had a life-changing experience and became a pro-life activist. I love that story. It was a powerful movie that really shook things up, didn't it?
It did. When Unplanned came out, it was a turning point in the movement. The liberal critics hated it, by the way. They gave it a 42% on Rotten Tomatoes. The audience approval score, however, was 94%.
Boy, it must have taken some guts for Abby to walk away from her job as a director of Planned Parenthood and then become pro-life and expose them to the world.
It sure did. And I actually know Abby. She's one of the last speakers I brought to our center banquet before I retired from Living Hope Pregnancy Center in 2010. She was Of course, an amazing speaker with an incredible story to tell. She has started an organization called And Then There Were None that helps other abortion clinic workers leave. Since starting the organization, they've helped over 640 abortion workers leave abortion clinics.
You know, the opposite of Planned Parenthood are these pregnancy resource centers.
Absolutely.
It's like light and dark. And I see so much more clearly how important the work of these centers is.
It's amazing that we have 3 centers in the White Mountains. New Hope Pregnancy Resource Center in Show Low, Springerville, and White River offer pregnancy tests and ultrasounds. For moms and dads of infants to teens, we offer Bright Course parenting classes. When you take our classes, you receive boutique bucks that you can spend in our on-site boutique for diapers, wipes, clothes, toys, formula, and so much more. And unlike Planned Parenthood, everything we offer is free.
So for more information, go to newhopepc.org or visit the Show Low office at 2500 East Cooley, next to the Social Security office. And for locations of White River or Springerville, call 928-599-1986. So Dinah, we are out of time for today, but just give us a forecast of what's coming up next time.
Well, since we just talked about Planned Parenthood, I think we should talk about the person who founded it, Margaret Sanger.
And folks, you don't want to miss that.
And until next week, be safe,
Be blessed.
be kind, and love life.